Unlike the majority of you illiterate scrubs, I was raised on real culture, and real art, and black market Chinese steroids, and I missed out on the superhero thing in my childhood. So, in 2008, when my friend said, "Would you like to go and see Iron Man?" I said, "What's that? Is it about a scrap merchant?" No thank you. Some hours later, exiting the cinema, I had to admit it was the best film I'd seen in ages. Why? Was it Tony Soprano's impeccable way with the ladies? Or his blatant disregard for American foreign policy? Or perhaps it was his metal tits? No, none of those things. It was because as an audience we gave a shit about what happened to him, and there were times of scarcity when he was actually in danger. Introducing special ingredient number 2 in story writing: scarcity. That is, give almost nothing away unless you have to. In the last episode, we looked at how showing rather than telling is a vital ingredient in a story, not being shit. In this episode, we'll uncover the power of making us actually care about a character by putting them in danger and adding scarcity. Almost every story begins with a problem and ends with a resolution. In this case, there are lots of evil Arabs who hold Tony Soprano captive, and he has to build some kind of power armor to fight his way out. Now a changed man, after his best friend Wilson is killed, he denounces his previous life as a playboy billionaire, and instead becomes a playboy billionaire with a robot suit, and a conscience, kind of. By the end of the movie, he is a changed character, with new values, and since we've seen what led him to change those values, we give a shit, and wish him all the best, becoming an honorary member of the Brotherhood of Steel, and banging his secretary. What would this story have been like with no scarcity whatsoever? Well, it would have revolved around completely irrelevant details we don't understand or care about, and exploit the fact that power suits are really cool by making loads of them, having the villain blow himself up at the end for no particularly good reason, and at no point making us feel like Tony Soprano was actually in danger, much like the sequels. So who fucked up and why? Let me answer that question with a question. Why was the first Matrix movie incredible? Why was the second one dogshit? Well, it's because Neo had to go through a tremendous struggle, and change his core values in the face of staggering adversity, and emerge a kind of godlike warrior. In the second film, it's all just gimmicks based on the first, with no real sense of danger. All the mystery is gone, and there's no scarcity. It's the same reason that this was 10,000 more times exciting than this. We don't care about unlimited firepower, we only care about someone with one bullet left. As a general rule, it doesn't matter if they're billionaires, or deranged, or serial killers, or power hungry. It only matters that they're in danger, and that their options are limited. We like rooting for the underdog. If they're already a fucking demigod, there's no fun in it anymore. The struggle's already over. This is what happens when you take scarcity away. Why is it the last scenes of Empire Strikes Back sit in everyone's mind, but no one even wants to acknowledge that the sequels even existed? Because in Empire, almost everyone is out of options, and we want to see what they'll do next. Likewise, in the first Matrix movie, you kind of knew there was a human city on the outside, but they never showed it to you, so it could be as fantastic as you wanted. Then the Wachowskis blew their wad, and suddenly we're learning all about it, and it's not that fantastical anymore. Can you imagine how shit Pulp Fiction would have been if we actually knew what was in the briefcase? Or if the spinning top had fallen over in Inception? Or if Stanley Kubrick had been like, no, I'll tell you what's in the monolith, it's aliens. It's definitely aliens. They're like this big and they smell like bacon. Show's over, yeah? Fuck off. Who do we respect more? Someone who was given millions of dollars and built an empire on the back of it? Or someone who came from relative scarcity, paddled down shit creek, and fashioned a paddle out of shit, and got to dry land? Scarcity works with mysteries too. If you're gonna set up a mystery, you have to keep the audience guessing. Then you remove scarcity at the end with the big reveal. Sometimes it's an interesting reveal we didn't see coming, and we're glad we spent all that time wondering about it. Other times it's a load of retarded aliens who are allergic to water, and decided to visit a planet covered 2/3 in water, a bit like us taking a holiday on the fucking sun. If you meet a pretty girl in a bar, allude to the more interesting aspects of your life. Maybe stay away from mentioning the finer details of your strong opinions about the Jewish race, or the fact that you want to put an entire pepperami up your ass. Likewise, if you build a world, don't show the whole thing to the audience, and make sure to fill it with broken humans, like us, not invincible godlike caricatures. In the end, we only care about 3 things: overwhelming adversity, courage, and most importantly, robot tits. Stick to these and we'll care about your story. Enough said.